Hi everyone, in today's video we will take a quick overview of Python. We will cover what Python is, its key features, where it is used and its application. Plus we will walk you through the installation of Python and PyCharm IDE. As part of this series, I have created a detailed HTML tutorial page for you to refer to. I will include the link in the description below. Let's take a few seconds to understand what Python is. By the definition, Python is a high-level interpreted programming language. It is known for its simplicity, readability, and versatility. It is widely used in data science and AI, including the web development and automation as well. Let us try to understand the terminologies like high level and interpreted programming language in detail. A high level programming language is designed to be closer to human rather than to the machine, making it easier to read, write and understand. In the earlier days of computing, the programs were written directly using binaries, zeros and ones, which was complex and difficult to manage. Later, assembly language was introduced, allowing the programmer to use the keywords and commands rather than writing a program using zeros and ones. However, assembly was still closely tied to the hardware, requiring manual memory management. After this, the language like C came into picture, which acted as a bridge between low-level and high-level programming. While it allowed the developers to write a code in a more human-readable way, the memory management and hardware interactions were still programmers' responsibility. With the introduction of high-level languages like Java, Perl, C# and Python, programming became more flexible and efficient. These languages abstract away many hardware complexities, allowing the developers to solely focus on logic and functionality rather than low-level system details. Python is an interpreted language, meaning it executes the code line by line rather than compiling the entire program into binary before execution. This is the opposite of languages like Java and C#, where the code is first compiled into machine code and then executed later. There are certain advantages and disadvantages with interpreted language. Let us try to understand them one by one. From the advantages front, the first one is an immediate execution. The interpreted languages execute the code line by line, allowing for intermediate feedback. Second one is the platform independence. These languages are cross-platform, meaning that the same code can run on a different operating system without the recompilation. Third one is easier to debug. Since interpreter executes the code line by line, the errors are detected at runtime, making it easier to pinpoint the exact issue. From the disadvantages perspective, they cannot be used for high performance applications like gaming engines, system softwares, etc. In such cases, you need to use the compilers. Second one is the memory efficiency is less in case of interpreter, since the compiled code can be optimized further. The third one is a security issue. The compiled code is security sensitive, where the compiled code is harder to reverse engineer, whereas the interpreted code can be easily reverse engineered. Another key feature of Python is the indentation. Python enforces the indentation, that is the white spaces at the beginning of the line, to define the code blocks. Okay. In case of the languages like C and Java, we use the flower bucket to define the code block. For example, if you are writing a function and after the function definition, you use the flower buckets to define the block of the code. Okay. This makes the Python code more readable and clean. If the indentation is incorrect, the Python will throw an indentation error. Now let us try to understand the key features that make Python very powerful. First one is it is simple and readable syntax. Python syntax is designed to be easy to read and write. Okay, it resembles the natural language like English, making it beginner friendly. So if you can see here, we are writing a small block of code where we are defining a variable um, name as a string Alice, and we are trying to print a code. So this is resembles like in simple English, right? It is very readable, very clean, and it has written in a simple English. The second feature is Python is an interpreted language. So we have covered this topic already, so I am not going to discuss it again. The variables in Python are dynamically typed, meaning that you need not have to specifically specify the variable types as integer or string. In case of programming languages like C and Java, you have to specify the type of the variable as a number or as a decimal or as a string. This basically tells what kind of value that this variable is going to hold and store in the memory. If you see in this example, I am assigning x with the value 10, making x as an integer. Similarly, y I am assigning the value as a hello, making the variable y as a string. Whereas z I am assigning the value as a float, making the variable z as a float. Python is a cross-platform language. We already discussed about this. So Python runs on Windows, Mac, Linux, even on a small embedded systems, embedded products, right? So you can write a code once and run it anywhere without any modification. Python supports both the object-oriented and functional programming. So it supports object-oriented programming with the help of classes and objects. We are going to discuss object-oriented programming in detail later in this series. And it also supports the functional programming using lambda functions and higher order functions. One of the key aspects why Python is so famous is because of extensive library supports. It supports a lot of standard libraries. Python comes with rich set of built-in libraries for file handling, mathematical operation, web development, data science, machine learning, and etc. etc. In the era of AI and generative AI, Python programming plays a very important role. Open source and community support. Python is an open source. It's free to use and also has one of the largest programming communities, making it easy to find help. Python supports multi-paradigm programming. Python allows procedural programming, that is writing a functions, object-oriented programming using the classes and the objects, and the functional programming using the lambda functions. This flexibility makes it suitable for various types of application. Automatic memory management. Python handles memory allocation and garbage collection automatically. So the programmer need not have to worry about it. No need to manually manage the memory, unlike in the programming languages like C and C++. Python supports the development of graphical user interface with the libraries like TK, which is an built-in GUI framework within Python. PyQt, it is for advanced graphical user interface development, and KIVY, which is used for mobile applications. Where exactly the Python is used? Let us go and check that. Python is used in web development like Django and Flask. It is used for AI and machine learning. The TensorFlow, PyTorch are some of the libraries that are available. It is used for data science using the pandas, NumPy and Matplotlib. It is used for test automation using the Selenium, request libraries and database libraries. It is used in the development of mobile application using KIVY libraries. It is used for the game development using Pygame. It is also used in network and cyber security using this SCAPI libraries. These are the different areas where Python is used. I have listed only few. There are a lot of areas where Python can be used. That was about the overview of Python. Now let us start installing the Python. Let us go to the setup section and you can follow these instructions. how to install the Python. So in order to install the Python, you will have to download the Python. So you can download the Python from the official website. Now the download is complete. You can see the exe is downloaded into my downloads folder. Now double click on this exe and it is asking for the default installation. That means it will be installed onto your default path or the customized installation. I will select the default installation. I will also click on this, add the Python exe to the path variable. So it automatically set my path variable. Let us see once the installation is complete. I'll click on this. It starts installing. Now the installation is successful. Now just close this dialog. Now let us bring in the environment variable dialog. Let's just type environment. This will bring out the control panel. Click on this. So now we have the system properties, under which click on the environment variables. Okay, and go to path and double click on this. You can see you have the two paths here. One is for the Python scripts path and another one is where the Python exe is available. Okay, so it is automatically added to my environment path variable. Let us close this and let us go to the path where the Python is installed, and in this path you can see Python exe. And additionally there was also a scripts folder that got added. The script folder basically when we add then additional libraries, for example maybe Selenium or the request library, this will come and resides inside the script folder. Okay, so that is why it is important to add the two paths, that is up to the Python path where we can find the python.exe, that is up to Python 3.1.3, and another one is up to the scripts. These two paths has to be added into the path variable. Now your Python is ready to use. Now let us bring the command prompt. And type Python -- version. This will show the version of the Python that is installed on our machine. In my case, I have installed 3.13.2. This indicates that the installation is successful, as well as the setup and configuration is also done correctly. Now let us go and install an IDE to work with Python. There are many IDEs that are available in the market to work with Python, like VS Code, PyCharm, the Jupyter Notebook, Spider, etc. But I prefer PyCharm, which is the best one to use. Let us click this link to understand the steps that are needed to install the PyCharm. So PyCharm is available in two versions. One is an community edition, another one is an enterprise edition. The community edition is free to use, and for this tutorial it is sufficient. So we will go and install the community version of PyCharm. For that I will have to go to the website, official website of PyCharm. PyCharm is basically from JetBrains. So if you scroll down, if you see here, it is an enterprise edition, which is also called as a professional edition, and which is a paid one. And if you can come down, there is also a community edition. So you can click here to download the binaries. So let us click here. So it asks for exe Windows ARM64 or just an exe. In my case it is just an exe. So the download is started. If you see, download is started, and it is a big file, and it will take some time to complete the download. Let us wait till the download is completed. Now the download is complete. Let us go and double click on this exe and follow the steps to complete the installation. click on next. It will basically ask you the path where it needs to install, and I will not change this path. I will give the default path and create an association. For a time being, I basically will not select anything, otherwise I can also select for the py files. Let us do this. Or yeah, this is important to add the path of the PyCharm into the path variable. Click on next. Yes, install. It will take some time to complete the installation. Till that time, I am going to pause the video. Once the installation is done, we will resume back. Now the installation is completed. Either you can reboot now, or you can select I want to manually reboot later. I will select this option and I will just finish this. Now let us go and open the PyCharm by typing PyCharm, and you can see here the PyCharm version 2024 3.2. Click on this. And for the first time you can see this screen, welcome to PyCharm. And since we don't have any scripts yet, so this shows the default screen, and here there is a setting button. Click on the settings, again click on settings, under which you can see a Python interpreter. So this is the path where you need to configure the Python interpreter. By default it shows no interpreter, and before configuring the interpreter we need to know the path where the Python is installed. This can be easily done by bringing the environment variable panel, and under environment variable you can see under path, you can find the path where the Python is installed. Let us copy this and then click on add interpreter, add local interpreter, and then you can click on the select existing. Here you can give the path. You can give the path where the Python is installed, and you can select this one, python.exe, under this path, and click OK, and then click OK. It takes some time to configure. Let's give that time. I'll pause the video for a moment till this section is completed, till the configuration is completed. Once the configuration is done, that particular dialog will disappear, and under the interpreter you can see the new interpreter being added, and just click on this and then click on OK. Now your Python IDE, that is PyCharm, is ready to use, and you can already either you can go and create a new project, or you can already you can open already existing folder. For this experiment, what I have done, I have already created a folder called as demo. Let us go and open this folder. And every time when you try to open a project or create a project, it by default it asks for the first time you want to trust this folder or not. You can give yes, trust this folder. Now the PyCharm IDE open for you. Okay, and for the first time by default it writes a script for you, and default script looks something like this. And here it is the main code, and what it is doing is it is trying to call a function by name print hi, and if you go to this function print hi, you can see we are trying to print a name. Okay, whatever the name that you passed, you are trying to print here. Okay, for a time being it may look a little bit complex for you. Okay, in order to avoid that, what we can do, we can just delete everything, and whatever is here with the hash, this is a comment. This is a way how we can write a comment in Python is using hash. Okay, so let us write, let us try to give a variable as name. As I told, it is dynamically typed. I need not have to specify the name is a string or not. So I will give the value as test troop. Then I'll try to print this value. The function to print is print function, and you'll have to use the parenthesis, and then you can pass name. Okay, and and let us remove this breakpoint, and you can go here and click on this particular button, this play button, to run the script. Okay, these are all things we will learn in detail: how to debug a script, how to run a script, how to debug a script, how to go into a particular statement, how to watch particular variable, and all those things in upcoming session. This session is only for installing Python, configuring the PyCharm IDE, and running our first program. Okay, let us try to execute this. If you see here in the down, this is the console window where it is printed test true. Okay, that brings us to the end of this session. In this session, we have covered some essential topics, including an introduction to Python, what makes it high-level programming language, and role of an interpreter. We also explored the key features of Python and where it is commonly used. Additionally, we learned how to install Python and an IDE, and we ran our first script. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe my channel for more content. Thank you for watching.